Thinking about starting a business in Japan? Kabushiki Kaisha, or KK, is the most popular choice for companies looking to establish credibility and grow in the Japanese market. In this video, we'll break down the key features of a KK, guide you through the setup process, and compare it to a business type like Godo Kaisha. This video is designed to simplify the process and get you started on the right path. Let's take a quick look at what we'll cover in this video so you know exactly what to expect. First, we'll cover what exactly is a Kabushiki Kaisha. Then we'll talk about the difference between a Kabushiki Kaisha and a Godo Kaisha, and what are the key differences and how you should choose one or the other. Then we'll talk about who should consider a Kabushiki Kaisha, leading to the setup process and costs for KK. And finally, we'll address some of the common misconceptions and some commonly asked questions about Kabushiki Kaisha, and how we as SmartStart Japan can help you make this process as smooth as possible.
Now, let me introduce our team. First, we have our co-founder, Tae-Jin Yoon. Born and raised in Japan, TJ brings years of experience in investment advisory and international relations. Fluent in both English and Japanese, he has guided over 25 companies and successfully managed 40 subsidy and loan applications in Japan. Tae-Jin is your go-to expert for navigating the complex setup requirements here in Japan. Next, we have Tyson Bettino, our co-founder who specializes in revenue growth and advisory services. And finally, here's me, Heiken, the marketing manager and the content creator here at SmartStart Japan. I'm dedicated to bringing you insights on how to successfully launch your business in Japan.
Let's dive right in. A Kabushiki Kaisha, commonly known as a KK, is Japan's most widely recognized and socially trusted business structure. A KK is a joint stock company that operates by issuing shares to raise capital. This structure basically allows companies to pool resources from multiple investors, making it ideal for businesses with significant growth ambitions. In Japan, over 90% of the new companies choose KK as their structure because of its versatility and credibility in the Japanese market. It offers numerous benefits, including the ability to raise substantial funds through investors or by going public with an IPO. Additionally, the KK structure separates ownership and management, meaning shareholders aren't directly involved in the company's daily operations, which makes it a great choice for businesses seeking professional governance and scalability within their business. Now, let's compare the two most popular business structures in Japan: the Kabushiki Kaisha, which is the main topic for this video, and Godo Kaisha. A KK, as we have discussed, is Japan's most recognized and credible corporate structure. It offers separation of ownership and management, high credibility, but it does require mandatory disclosure of your financial statements annually, which increases transparency but also adds to your compliance costs every year. On the other hand, a GK is a simpler and more flexible structure, often compared to an LLC in other countries. It basically featured ownership and management being combined, meaning that investors are often directly involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. It has a lower setup cost, making it a more budget-friendly option for startups and small businesses looking to enter Japan but won't need the extra credibility, or they don't need to raise extra funds within Japan. It also has a more flexible profit distribution, allowing earnings to be allocated differently from the investment ratio, which is not possible in Kabushiki Kaisha. So the TLDR version is that if you're looking for credibility and growth potential, go for KK. And if you are looking for simplicity and cost efficiency, then a GK could be more ideal for you. If you want to know more about Godo Kaisha in Japan, we also have an exclusive video dedicated to that corporate structure, where we will dive deeper into its features, benefits, how to set it up, and the relevant cost. You can check it out via the link in the description down below. And if you're looking to start your KK in Japan, we are offering a free 30-minute consultation to help guide you through the entire process. So visit smartstartjapan.com to book your session today. Next, let's also talk about who should consider a KK. So first, if you are a aspiring entrepreneur living in Japan, if you're an individual looking to start your own business in Japan, a KK offers the perfect balance of structure and scalability. Its professional setup makes it easier to attract investors, build credibility, and create a strong foundation for long-term growth. So this is especially useful if you need to attract Japanese investor, and then a KK would be the better choice over GK. Second, are companies looking to commit their operations in Japan. For businesses planning to operate in Japan for the long haul, a KK is more ideal. Its robust framework facilitates partnerships with Japanese companies, fosters trust, and aligns with the expectations of the Japanese business ecosystem. Third, are those who are seeking higher credibility within the Japanese market. If your goal is to build a strong reputation among banks, investors, and customers, the KK structure is better than the GK corporate structure. It is widely regarded as a more trustworthy and a legitimate entity, providing a competitive edge in establishing credibility and accessing funding opportunities. Here's a very quick overview of the setup process of a KK. Setting up KK involves 5 key steps: deciding on company details, drafting the articles of incorporation, notarizing them, depositing the initial capital, registering the company with the Legal Affairs Bureau. We'll break down each step in detail in the coming slides. So the first step in setting up a Kabushiki Kaisha is deciding on the core details of your company. This step is the first step and is an important one because it lays the groundwork for all your subsequent actions, including drafting out the articles of incorporations and filing legal documents. You have to make sure all these details that you filled in are consistent across all your legal documents and are correct. Getting these details right from the beginning saves you time and ensures a smooth setup process. We'll go over some of the more important details you have to get right in this step. For a full list of items that you will have to decide for this stage, visit our article on Kabushiki Kaisha in Japan for more details. And we'll leave a link in the description. So first is the company name. Choose a name that reflects your business mission and character. Make sure it's unique by checking the Ministry of Justice's online registry, which we'll leave the link in the description down below. And you also have to make sure that the name of your company must include Kabushiki Kaisha either at the beginning or the end. Second is your office location. This will be the official address for registration. It can be your home, a rental office, or even a virtual office. You should choose an option that plans for the long term to avoid address changes procedures in the future. Next will be your capital. While there is no minimum capital requirement, a reasonable amount enhances your credibility of your business, especially if you are going to apply for loans in the future. If you are applying for a business manager visa, 5 million yen is required for your business. 4 will be your business objectives. Define your company's purposes and activities clearly. These will be stated in the articles of incorporation and reviewed by banks and investors. 5 is your shareholders and directors. Determine who owns shares and how much shares do you want to issue and who manages the company. Decide on the roles early on to align responsibilities effectively. Next, we'll also need to talk about a minor step right after you have decided on your company name, which is to create your corporate seal or jitsunin. While this might seem like a minor step, having a corporate seal is a pretty important legal requirement in Japan. It basically serves as your official representation of your company's signatures in Japan. It is used for signing contracts, submitting official documents, and conducting business transactions. Think of it as the company's legal fingerprint. So once you have decided on your company names and details, you have to create a corporate seal. This also includes registering your seal and getting your seal certificate. You can check out our article on how to establish a Kabushiki Kaisha for more details about the seal. The next step in setting up your Kabushiki Kaisha is drafting the articles of incorporation, or teikan. Think of this as your company's constitution. It defines the internal rules, governance structure, and key operational details of your business. Here's what you need to include. First, your company name, which you have decided already. Your company name must include the term Kabushiki Kaisha, either at the beginning or the end, The second point you have to include is your business objectives. Clearly outline the scope of your business activities. This not only provides clarity for your operations, but it's also necessary when dealing with banks, clients, and government offices to show that you are actually a legitimate business. 3. Registered address. Specify your company's official location, which can be your office, rental space, or even a virtual address, depending on what you have decided. 4. Share capital. Define the total initial capital. While there's no minimum requirement, sufficient capital ensures operational credibility, especially when applying for loans or visas. And finally, you also have to decide on your shareholders and director, but you should have those decided on step 1 already. So after you have drafted your articles of incorporation with the necessary details, you will submit this to a public notary for certification. This basically ensures your document meets all the requirements that are needed to establish a Kabushiki Kaisha in Japan. To notarize your articles of incorporation, it costs typically between 50,000 to 70,000 yen, depending on complexity of your articles of incorporation. Investing time in crafting a clear and compliant articles, make sure you have smoother interaction with the Legal Affairs Bureau as well as for your investors later on. Let's talk a bit more about how to notarize your articles of incorporation. So once you have everything drafted, you will submit your finalized document to the public notary, or what we call a koshonin, for certification. Notarization ensures your articles comply with Japanese corporate laws and are legally binding. Fees for notarization generally range from 50,000 to 70,000 yen, depending on the complexity of your document. And when you go to notarize your articles of incorporation, you also need to bring your identification, your finalized articles of incorporation, and any supporting documents such as shareholders agreement or proof of capital contributions as needed. Another important process in your KK setup process is to deposit your company's initial capital into a bank account. Since the company's bank account cannot be created before your registration, this deposit is made into the founder's personal bank account. So what you need to do is have a proof of transfer or transfer to capital as the amount outlined in your articles of incorporation into the personal bank account designated by the founder or founders. And you also need the proof of the transaction. So either some bank book copies or the transaction receipts or screenshots showing the deposit are all typically accepted in Japan. Now that you have prepared all necessary documents for your Kabushiki Kaisha, the final critical step is submitting all your registration documents to the Legal Affairs Bureau. This submission finalizes the legal establishment of your company. So here are the things that you need to prepare. First, obviously, your articles of incorporation that is notarized, your certificate of capital deposit, your application form, the consent from your directors, basically a document signed by your directors accepting their role as the CEO or as a manager position of your company. You also need your seal registration form. This is for your company's official seal so that the government can verify that you actually have the seal and the seal looks the same as the one they have in record. So the final one is shareholders agreement, and if applicable, you have to include that if you have multiple founders or multiple shareholders when you're establishing your KK. In terms of the registration fee, you'll pay a fee of 150,000 yen or 0.7% of your initial capital. Whichever is higher, this fee must accompany the application. Finally, the registration process typically takes around 7 to 10 business days, and once approved, your company will be officially registered and you'll receive a certificate for your incorporation. So that was everything you need to know about the setup process. And now let's talk a bit about the setup cost for Kabushiki Kaisha as well. There are 4 relevant costs that we'll need to talk about. First is the registration license tax. The core cost of the registration for KK is, like we've mentioned, 150,000 yen or 0.7% of your initial starting capital, whichever is higher. And this fee is paid to the Legal Affairs Bureau. In addition, you also need to pay 40,000 yen for the stamp duty, which also goes to the Legal Affairs Bureau. And you also need to pay the notarization fee as well for your articles of incorporation. And this is anywhere between 50 to 70,000 yen, and you would pay to the notary public. Finally, for post-incorporation costs, these are things like opening a corporate bank account or filing notifications with the tax office and social insurance agencies, which you'll have to do if you decide to hire any employees. And these will come to around 100,000 yen to 200,000 yen, depending on how much you want to hire someone to do and how much you want to do it yourself. One thing we can mention is that if you applied through us, we can help you waive your stamp duty, giving you 40,000 yen to a already pricey incorporation process. Finally, let's talk about some of the common misconceptions and questions people will have when they are establishing a Kabushiki Kaisha in Japan. So 1, is KK only for large businesses? No. While KK is very popular for large corporations in Japan, it's also suitable for small to medium business. And the same goes for Godo Kaisha as well. While it's suitable for small to medium business, a lot of large companies like Amazon uses that structure in Japan as well. Next, do you need a Japanese partner to start a Kabushiki Kaisha? No. Foreign entrepreneurs can establish a KK independently. However, you will need to meet the legal and visa requirement, and having a registered address in Japan is necessary. 3, do I need to publish financial statements for KK? Yes. Unlike a GK, KK must publish their financial statements annually. These can appear in newspaper, online, or through official platforms like the government gazette, ensuring you have compliance and transparency for KK. 4, can a KK be converted to a GK? Yes. A KK can be restructured into a GK if you prefer this type of structure that is more simple and more cost-effective, though this is less common of a procedure compared to transitioning from a GK to a KK. 5, is it expensive to maintain a KK? While KK involves higher maintenance costs because of its stricter compliance rules, all the other things that you have to file annually for KK, they won't account for a huge part of your ongoing costs compared to if you have just established a GK instead. So that is the end of our video. If you're looking to start your Kabushiki Kaisha in Japan, we at SmartStart Japan specialize in making your business incorporation process seamless and stress-free. Here's how we can assist you. We provide comprehensive support, everything from preparing and submitting incorporation documents to managing your taxes, labor and welfare filings after your incorporation process. We will make sure everything is legal and your administrative requirements for the companies are met. For those who are not currently in Japan or will need a visa, we also provide support for applying for a business manager visa. We can guide you through the process of obtaining one and help you through the entire application process. Finally, for clients that have successfully incorporated through us, we also provide our Smart Boost services so that you can apply for government-backed subsidies or loans, helping you gain a financial edge to grow your business in Japan. If you're ready to take the next step, book your 30-minute free consultation today at smartstartjapan.com. Let us help you turn your vision into reality with ease and professionalism. Finally, if you want to know more about how to get your business manager visa in Japan, check out this video.